Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Brokers Open Podcast. I'm Dr. Ben Spears. I'm here, as usual, with the big guy, Matt Vi. We have a guest that we're getting ready to bring on, guys. I know you're like, I don't really want to talk to Ben and Matt. I just want to hear from Chris. Well, give us a second.
Just 1 second's all we need.
Man, just give us a second. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic.
All right, that's enough of you.
Right.
Let's bring on our guest. Chris Bryant. He's a business coach to real estate agents. He's a broker at Murney Associates in South
Missouri.
Yeah, I know Missouri. I was thinking Southwest or Southeast.
Southwest Missouri. You got it.
Yeah, Southwest. Okay, perfect. I got it right in the second try. Chris, how you doing today?
I am great. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely. No, we're super excited to interview you guys. This is going to be a great episode. You're not going to want to tune away. But before we get on to the question with Chris, make sure you hit that follow and subscribe button wherever you are. So Chris, I'm just thinking, you were probably like 3 years old, and you were maybe not 3. You were probably 4.5, and you were riding your big wheel down the road, and you were just looking at all these houses you were driving by. People may not know what a big wheel is. I know what a big wheel is. You're driving by these houses. I think I want to get into real estate one of these days and sell some of these houses. Is that kind of how you got in the real estate industry, or was it, maybe a little bit different?
For that children's book that you were going to write, yes, it is a real story. The real story is a little, I don't know, maybe less glamorous than that. I was selling ladies' shoes at the mall, and a friend of mine there said, "Hey, you should come by my mom's office. She's a real estate agent." And go meet her, meet a few people. And I thought, I can sell ladies' shoes like a boss. Why don't we just try houses? And so there began the career 23 years ago of stepping into the world of real estate.
Yeah, it's so crazy because every guest we have is always so different, right? Everyone has a story, and everybody's story is amazing. I love that you had a sales background before you even got in, because everybody just has a different background. But it only makes sense that you had immediate success because you had that sales background. The coaching aspect of it. Talk to me a little bit about that. Where did that stem from?
Yeah, so in 2010, I've had my license since 2000. In 2010, I actually went to be a pastor at a church for 8 years. And I kept selling real estate as well, but I stepped down from that in 2018. And I really, in that time period, gained a love for investing in people. And so it kind of became a natural fit. My brokerage that I'd been a part of for 18 years said, "Hey, would you ever want to be a coach?" And actually, that's exactly what I had written in my own little journal about 2 months prior. If I could do anything, I would be a coach in the marketplace. So for me, it was kind of this combination of, I knew what it looked like to create kind of pathways of growth for people. I knew how to sell real estate like a boss. What if you put those two together? Here I am, real estate coach.
Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack with being a real estate coach, but let's start with this. Let's start with the easy one. What do you like the most about it? What do you enjoy the most about coaching agents? It
is 100% the investing in people. Really, it's just, Jim Rohn said that your level of success in business will rarely exceed your level of personal development. And so when I meet up with an agent and they have one of those moments where, it always surfaces as, I'm not making my calls, I'm not doing my things, but that's never the problem. You guys know There's always an internal problem. There's a struggle, there's a mindset, there's a fear, there's an insecurity and uncertainty. When we come against those moments, and agents sometimes with tears are breaking through that, it's not just now they're going to go make more sales. It's they're going to go be like a different person. I believe this business has the capacity to change moms and dads and husbands and wives, change people to be a different person. And yes, that brings a lot of success with it. But to me, that's the sweet spot. That's the honey, is when you help people grow up as human beings.
Yeah, I love that. And that's so crucial in real estate, because real estate's a tough biz, right? So
Absolutely. Especially right now.
Absolutely. You keep rubbing up against things and you got two choices of which direction to go, right?
Right.
And so that gives you the chance to be able to explore, which way you want to grow, right? Because we all know, we've heard it before. I've said it probably once or twice before. It's like a tree, man. You're either growing or you're dying, right? I mean, that's just there's no limit. There's no
You
limit.
said that to me. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just so true because in real estate, there's so much opportunity for it. And people, if they have the capacity for that, that's when the limitless comes into play, right? That's whenever they don't get held back. So so you did your own sales, and of course you're coaching now and everything. And you just mentioned this, you know, especially right now, what's going on in the market. We're going to talk in just a second about, you know, how to deal with what's going on in the market. But do me a favor first, kind of just share with everybody the people that you are talking to, the agents that you are talking to. What are you hearing from them about some of their struggles in the market right now? What are they running into, right? Is it all about inventory, or is it all about, you know, do interest rates, are they really making that much of a difference? Or what is it that's happening that you really see collectively across the people you're coaching that's the issue right now with what's going on in real estate?
Yeah. So I think a way I would describe that is every market has a climate, if you will. Like if you think about if you're going to go climb Mount Everest, which means you're nuts, but there's a seasonal climate for this is a hard or cold or snowy season. Well, for our climate right now, we're in a climate where there's just 25-30% less sales than normal. Inventory is still half of what it should be in most markets, or even worse than that. Interest rates are up. Prices are still up, so affordability is down. So all of those things are I think create the climate. I'm finding that the agents that are thriving in this market, it's almost like they would look around and go, we're in a bad market. Like they just keep showing up and do the work, and they keep climbing the mountain one foot in front of the other. I mean, I've got agents that I coach, it's their best year ever. I've got agents, it's their best year ever. I've got agents that I coach that it's not too. So it's, you know, it's because every agent's at a different place, and, you know, you never know, this agent had other things in their personal life that they needed to give attention to, and real estate allows you to do that. You do pay for it. But that's what I'm seeing, is that we're having to, I mean, I think the call I'm making to agents right now, I just started a 75-day hard for real, REAL, real estate agent leads, 75 hard challenge for real estate agents at my brokerage. Because as of today, actually, there's 75 days, weekdays from now until the rest of the year. So the idea is for 75 days between now and the rest of the year, I don't care which days you choose to do, you know, these point-based activities that are all about growing business. And what I'm finding myself saying to those agents is, hey, you can't control the market. You can't control interest rates. You can't control inventory. The only thing you can control is you. So let's stop jacking around with all this other stuff, and let's focus on the one thing that you can do something about, and that's you. So I don't know. That's kind of the conversation I find myself having a lot right now.
Yeah, that's super coincidental, because we're actually launching our 74 for real tomorrow.
Oh, really? Are you kidding? Oh, you're
No, you know, I'm joking around. Come on, you've listened
okay,
to
I'm
before.
just making sure. I knew this was your third one of these to do. So
Yeah, exactly. It's our very first ever 74 for real, though.
Yeah, that's great.
so I always put myself in the shoes of the listener, right? And so I'm an agent. I'm not in Southwest Missouri. Maybe I am.
Okay.
And I'm like, man, this guy's doing a 75 for real. I wonder what that's all about. I don't need you to go through like every 75 days, that kind of thing. But I would love it if you could share, what does day one or day two of something that like that look like, so that an agent, you know, anywhere in the country or in the world, we have agents in other countries as well, could say, you know, at least maybe I could get started doing something like that. And so I'm just intrigued by that. So I'm sure that our listeners are as well. What would be like day one or day two of something like that, or day 20, whichever one you want to share?
Yeah, sure. So I have, first of all, anyone's welcome to do it. I'll share what I have with anybody who's listening. I have a Facebook group that I posted it, actually just saying, hey, I'm doing this at my brokerage. Anybody wants to join, it's all you. So I have in front of me, it's basically a page that gives you all the points for the activities. And the first 4 or 5 activities are really about preparing the human being, if you will, for the day. So it's, you know, meditate, pray, or exercise, gratitude, affirmations. So you get a couple of points for doing those things. But then the whole rest of it is really about what are the lead generating activities that if you just consistently do these every day, and I almost should give points for not whining about the market or the rates or all those things.
Yeah.
But if you just, every conversation you have is worth 3 points, handwritten notes worth 3 points, social media post is 5 points, a marketing email to your entire database is worth 10 points. So I've got, all these points, and I've created a few scenarios, and it's going to challenge agents to get 75 points a day. I mean, I've got one agent here at my brokerage. He's done it 3 days, and he's more than doubling the points. So he kind of makes me feel like, you made it too easy. But it's not. I mean, the idea is it's going to put you in direct connection with 10 to 15 people a day, and it's going to surround those people connecting activities with activities that are going to grow your skill set, your mindset, or just your overall network of people. So, I mean, you get 2 points when you add somebody to your database. So it's all about and I've weighted it. So, maybe I'll look back one day, well, that was stupid. Why did I give them 10 points for that? So an open house, for example, is 10 points. So, the agents I work with, they know that I'm teaching you, okay, please don't just go stick a sign in the yard and say it's open. Open houses are so much more than that. So they know that, but I've got the challenge, I've got the daily planner that you track it, and I've got a full page that gives you all the 75 out of basically 100 days. So anybody could start at any time really and say, all right, in the next 100 days, I'm going to choose my 75. So, when you give my info at the end, anybody can email, call, you can have my cell phone. I don't care. You can anybody that wants anything can call. I'll be happy to share it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And so, you're giving them points for these different activities, and the guy that's putting up 150 a day, man, if he keeps that up, he's about to have an incredible end of the year.
You just nailed it. He is Kobe Bryant shooting balls all day long.
Making it rain.
Will show up.
Yeah.
And, and it's set up to where, okay, let's say you have a great day and you go 3 listing appointments. Well, those listing appointments are 10 apiece. So, people that are going on those big wins, you get big points for that. So you're not getting penalized for that. But it's like, all right, if you don't have those appointments, then you're going to have to work to get your points up. And it's going to be the kind of work that's going to get you those appointments.
Right. Yeah, that's
that's the idea behind it.
I love it.
Yeah, that's so good, and it gives you that goal too, right? We all three know how important this is. The listeners know how important it is. Having that goal, something that is in front of you that tells you exactly what you need to do in order to accomplish a certain thing is huge. And that also speaks to you're talking about lead measures there, right? Do these things,
Absolutely.
and you're going to get these results. So I absolutely love that. We'd love to hear back later how the people that are participating are doing. Right? We'd love for you if you get a chance.
That'd be great.
Yeah. So let's talk about coaching for just a minute, right? So let's give out some information just to anybody that happens to be listening that's trying to get their business to that next level. Let's talk a little bit about what they can do, right? So when somebody first comes on and they connect with you and they're contemplating, doing some coaching or they're wanting to get started, right? You probably have a personality thing that you kind of do with them, kind of get them to the bottom of what is going to work well with them. You talk about the level of accountability that they want to make sure that that's all on track and everything. After you peel those layers of the onion back, what is it that you dig into first? What is it that you go, okay, look, let's really figure out this first to determine how we can help you the most with what it is that you're trying to accomplish with your business? What do they need to pay attention to?
Well, the first 2 things are the same thing of the different sides of the same coin. And one of them you certainly hear a lot about is, why are you doing this? I just want to know, what's the reason you're doing this? And, so what's your why? And usually that for me looks like, let's put a pin on the map. All right, you're here in this part of the country. Where do you want to go? So, I had an agent sitting in this chair across from me a couple of years ago. I knew she's got a few years left that she's wanting to work. I said, where are you going to be in 5 years? She said, I don't know. I said, well, I don't really think I can help you until you know the answer to that. Otherwise, I don't know where we're driving. Right. So it's getting crystal clear about what they want and why they want it. But then the other side of that coin is, why are you in the marketplace? I think the thing that I think a lot of agents suffer from is they don't They don't know how to differentiate themselves. They don't really even know the product that they offer, which is their service. So, agents who don't know how to differentiate themselves, I think really struggle, especially when they're new from, okay, Chris has done real estate for 23 years. I've been doing it for 23 days. Why would anybody pick me? And you should be able to come up with an answer to that as a new agent.
Absolutely.
Right. And so helping agents define what is the value you bring. So really that's exploring what are the fears, concerns, and pain points that buyers and sellers have, and what are you going to do about it? I mean, I speak to a group of new agents. I'm doing it tomorrow, actually, that are not even licensed yet. And I always tell them, you got to know the answer to two questions. Why does anyone need a realtor? Like, just explain that to me. Why don't I just go FSBO? Why does anyone need a realtor? And then two, why you? You've got to be, I think as an agent, you've got to be able to write a paragraph on both of those. And until you can, I mean, if you don't have confidence in you, why would you expect anybody else to? So that's number one, is getting under those. Number two would be really just leads, all about how you're going to get people to trust you to be their agent. And we could go a ton into that. And then number three is really about creating a consistent routine. Like, it's how are you going to create consistent inputs with your daily routine that create consistent outputs? Yeah. So many agents say this business is a roller coaster, it's up and down. And I'm like, no, you're a roller coaster. You're up and down.
Right.
So those are three things that I definitely spend a lot of time working with.
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna add something on that accountability piece, because we just talked to a group of brokers about this, and I wanted to bring this forward into this conversation because you just brought it up, because I think it was really helpful for them, and I know it would be helpful for the agents. When somebody's trying to determine what it is that they want, what is their why?
Yeah.
And when we talk to them about what level of accountability they want, right? Because we know coaching is part of accountability, but not everybody wants the same level of accountability, and or needs the same level of accountability. But being able to understand on the front end what that looks like to each individual person as a coach is really important. And as an individual, you got to be honest with yourself. How much of it do I actually need? So one of the things that we just talked about with a group of brokers was, sometimes people don't know how to identify how much accountability they need, because they think they have it figured out to a certain level, and maybe they do, or maybe they don't. So when you're working with them, saying, how much accountability do we need to accomplish this goal? Instead of saying, how much accountability do you need to stay on track?
That's good.
And so what that does, it allows a person to kind of step back from it and say, okay, if I really want to be here, and I love where you said put the pin in the map. That is absolutely spot on. And you've got to have driving directions, or otherwise you just end up on the road for the rest of your life, right? So being able to get from point A to point B, having not only a goal of where you're going, but a roadmap of where you're going. You're exactly right, Chris. But at that point, saying, okay, in order for us to get there, if that really is our goal, how accountable do we need to be to that? It allows the person to kind of take a step back, take themselves and their thoughts and all this obstacles that get in the way and everything, allows them to pull away from all of that and see how accountable they want to be to what they're trying to accomplish. So if somebody's listening to this right now and they're going, okay, I'm a pretty accountable person, and I don't know if I necessarily need a coach all the time and all that kind of stuff. Ask yourself, how accountable are you to your goal? And if you're not extremely accountable to your goal, you might need a coach. You might need somebody that's actually going to help you do that. What do you think of that? Do you think I'm on track with that, or does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing that is sometimes a challenge too is really defining those kind of words like accountability. A lot of times I think there's an old school way of thinking about accountability. I used to have this way that accountability is outside in pressure, but really it's more inside out pressure. Accountability, I can't make you accountable, right? We're all adults here, we're grown up. So accountability is really taking responsibility for yourself and saying, I need somebody beside me, because sometimes I can let my feelings lead me. And that's a tragic disaster when I do. I've got accountability with my workout partner. He's one of my best friends. And, Last week I was back in town from a vacation, jet lag. There was 2 days that we met to work out, or one day, whatever, probably one, but a couple of days we met to work out, and I would not have gone. No way in the world. I felt like garbage, but because I knew he was going to be there,
Yep.
I got to show up. I mean, and I have a coach, and there's times, I mean, since I've been on this call, my coach has messaged me. I've got a coach, and I know when I'm meeting here at this time tomorrow, what we talked about last time, I need to get my butt in gear and get it done. So I'm a coach, and I still need that accountability.
Absolutely.
I need those stopping points that say you need to have this done by then. So I don't know. Hopefully that helps just further that conversation of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Whoops. No, go ahead.
We can hold people accountable, but we can't make them accountable. Only a person can make themselves accountable.
Right.
Yeah. That's so spot on.
Well, Matt's like a black belt in like 13 different martial arts.
Right.
And so he makes me accountable, right? It's some of those,
You will get the judo chop if you don't do what you said you were going to
He's
do.
like, edit.
That's right.
No, I love that. And so a couple times, throughout this episode, and I just, I love asking this question. If someone's listened before, they've heard me ask it. But we've heard the word lead, right? Anything from, hey, the three things that you mentioned, in the middle was a little bit of lead generation. Matt was talking about lead measures and that kind of thing. It was a totally different animal, but that word just kind of comes up in real estate conversations. And so when I got two coaches in my presence, I gotta ask a leads question, because again, it's a huge trigger word for agents. And, we say all the time that agents say they want leads, but they really want transactions, that kind of thing.
Yep.
If I'm an agent, the market is the way that it is, and it's September 2023, depending on when someone's listening to this, market is the way that it is. Now, how do I generate leads, or just what conversation are you having with agents about leads? Are you just saying like, well, you need leads, man? Like just go and, sell your mom a house, right? Whatever. I guess your mom would be a lead at that time. What's the lead conversation that you're having right now with the agents in your office and the ones you coach?
Yeah, great question. So I think that, probably throughout the COVID years, if you had 100 people in your database, 10 or 12 of them were making a move, 10 or 12%. And I think now 5 or 6 of them are making a move. So it's kind of a simple equation. Do you want to live on less, or do you want to expand the number of people in your database that you're building a relationship with? So that's really, now there's more to it than that, I'll answer. But I would say, first of all, you got to expand your umbrella. You've got to have more people under your umbrella that you're investing in. To me, that's what it means to market to people. It's to invest in the relationship, invest in their good. So it's going from a database of 200 people to 300 people. Well, you'll probably have this year about the same number of sales.
Right.
But when the market goes up, you're going to be better off. Now, it does just because you add them to your database doesn't mean all of a sudden they're yours.
Right.
It takes nurturing that for time. But then the other side of that is, so not only expanding your influence and the number of people you're investing in, but it's just getting crystal clear. To me, I think of lead sources like sidewalks, and I'm the house. I want 4 different sidewalks leading to me. I want at least 4 different lead pillars, or whatever you want to call them, lead sources that are feeding my business. And so right now, throughout COVID, I think people got a lot sloppy on leads. Like, how'd you get your lead? Well, I woke up today and I put on my slippers.
Right.
And I had 12 leads. Those days are gone. And so you have to be very intentional about what you're doing with social media, what you're doing with your sphere of influence, what you're doing with open houses. And there's I've had people that moved into my market. They don't know anybody. They don't have a sphere. What do? I mean, then we're talking about what do you do? And all of a sudden that person, she just walked by my office. She is a boss at open houses. She had her first house under contract within 45 days, and she's going to sell, 40 houses this year. And she didn't know anybody here 3 years ago. Right. So it's getting very intentional about each of your lead sources, and not just let them be, I have 4 different lead sources that sometimes show up with a lead. No, we need a plan around every single one of them.
Yeah, and I would that's absolutely spot on. And let me add a little something to that. So, when you're sourcing them, when you're figuring out where all that is coming from, I think it's important to grade them right now. Right, give them some type of grade to see how it is that going forward, how good that they're going to be, and is that really going to be the source that you think you're going to continue getting the type of business that you want. Right, if you think it's a shifting market, listings are going to be more important, more crucial. And all of your lead activities that you're doing, all of your sourcing that you're doing has all brought you a tremendous amount of buyers over the past however long. Maybe it's time to look at those, go ahead and grade those, and go ahead and make some adjustments. And I know that's what you were talking about. I just wanted to make sure that we added added that little component to that, because I think that's spot on how you're coaching people to make sure they're paying attention to that part of what they do.
I think you're spot on there about adjusting. I have an agent. I'm a broker and a coach at my company in Southwest Missouri, but I also have a coaching business where I coach agents in other markets. I have an agent that I coach down in the 30A area of Florida. I mean, just phenomenal human being, just killing it down there. And, I asked him the question. He had a lead source he was paying for, starts with a Z, ends with an O. Ish sound, and he was paying for leads, and he chose to shut that off. And I said, well, tell me about your Google leads. And he's, his response, I'll never in that. It's always, that's where I get my come list me leads. Not every market's like that, but he's paying attention to, okay, Zillow for me right now is not working the way I needed it to, but this is. And so he's actually taking some of that money and investing it in other places, even trying out other lead sources to figure out. So, agents who are continually growing, even in this market, they're always A/B testing kind of. They're always like, they'll do one mailer to this neighborhood, one mailer to that neighborhood, and see which one gets them a better response. Yeah. So, I think you're exactly right. You have to grade them. You kind of have to go, okay, I spent $1 there. How nice was that $1 to me? Like I spent an hour there. How nice was that hour to me? Did it give me the ROI that I need? Or is there one that's showing up better for me? And it may not be the market. It might just be, hey, I'm just better at open houses. Like I love talking to strangers that walk into a house. If that's you, then you need to invest more in that. Right.
Completely agree. You find out what works, but the first step is take a look at all of it. Right. See what it is that you're doing, and right. So that you're absolutely spot on.
Yeah, for sure. And then, and a great resource of that too is like, gosh, if you're an agent and you're in a brokerage that has other agents, man, ask around what's working for you, what's, and that kind of thing. And anything that they say, oh, you don't want to do that, that's probably the thing that's they're working. That's probably the thing that's working.
Yep. That's the one. That's the thing that's definitely spend more time doing that.
Yeah. You want to write that one. You want to write that one down. They're holding that close to the chest.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, I want to make sure that we're super respectful of your time. Of course, I'm super grateful that you're on here. But I want to make sure that anyone listening who would want to connect with you or want to learn more about you, or just say, I want to meet a really nice guy, then, how do they do that?
Yeah, so I'm on all the social media platforms. J. Chris Bryant is Instagram. So J for James, Chris Bryant. J. Chris Bryant's on Instagram, on Facebook, Chris Bryant. I also have cbryant@murney.com. So that's my website. And like I said, maybe you think this guy's crazy, but you can call me on my cell phone, 417-818-6242. 417-818-6242.
Yep, I love it.
Anything I can do to be a help, or if you want anything at all for the challenge, you can email me, cbryant@murney.com, call me, text, anything you need. Glad to help.
Yeah, I love that. And I love it when, because that's real estate still relationship based.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so many times we have, people on here and they share, just go to my website. But it seems like anytime we have like a real estate professional on here, it's like, here's my email, here's my phone number. I got 4 sidewalks leading to my house. Here's my address. Just come on in. That kind of thing.
Yeah. My social security number is 42. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. And that only goes to show, why you were successful, still are successful in the real estate industry, right? Because that's the way you're looking at it. Well, I appreciate you so much, Chris, and I'm sure I know Matt does as well,
always,
as well as all of our listeners. So thank you so much for coming on this show and sharing some of your knowledge.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I thank you guys for making this knowledge more readily accessible. I've already benefited from you guys as well. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Well, guys, if you're listening to this from the iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, any of those platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube, what's up? Make sure you hit that red subscribe button, that bell right beside of it, get notified every time we drop a new episode. Go to brokersopenpodcast.com and check out all the cool things that we have there to help you grow your brokerage, or just watch some other past episodes. Matt, we bring on amazing guests, just like Chris, every single episode, because Brokers Open Podcast is not just about open houses.
It's about open minds. Thanks, guys.